We are Our Place Out Loud. I am your lovely and captivating host, Louise Palanker, here with a panel of wise and wonderful teens. What we do on this show is we talk about teen issues and we help kids in every way possible by talking about the stuff that really matters to kids and people. Parents, teachers, anyone who's met a kid. These are my headphones. It's pretty exciting stuff that goes on here. We have, in the booth, we've got Justin and Drew. We've got on the panel Nina, Aaron, Maddie, and Olivia. We've got Matt. And we have Trish. And I'm here. And we have Hot Tub Ken. I don't know where his hot tub is, but Aaron recently just said, can we just call him Black Ken? And I'm like, well, if you're African-American or African in any country and you have a problem with us calling this guy Black Ken, please call us and explain why. We would be happy to call him whatever you think his name should be. Give us a call at 888-531-7171 regarding...
Download the app, too.
And download the app. It's now called Our Place. We're undergoing a name change. And so we're going to be changing our name across all social networking and everywhere else on the internets back to Journals. We were Journals. It's going to be Journals Network everywhere online. And it's Journals Network eventually. But right now, it's still Our Place if you're looking for the app in the App Store. Although we do have the test version on our... Oh, maybe I could show you guys our new logo. Pretty exciting.
Schmancy logo.
It's pretty cool. So if you look at that.
Oh, do we see it? Can we see it?
Oh, Trisha's going to help you see it. It's we chose yellow, and then Olivia said, but you can't put yellow inside the app because, Olivia, why? It's a college student. We'll give you...
It's color theory on computer science knowledge things. Facebook is blue, Tumblr's blue, Twitter's blue. Everything is blue because blue keeps you awake and the most engaged. So you're being tricked by major corporations.
They know what they're doing.
Congratulations.
And they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, they studied
they're
this.
fully aware of it.
Are there a lot of monkeys in a room somewhere looking at yellow things and falling asleep?
Yep.
And also a lot of really poor college students who just are trying to participate in any research study they can.
Yep.
All right. And they're tricking the system, too. They're staying
Who may or may not be
things.
monkeys. I'm just sorry. Gotta
So
add
we're
that.
going to jump to... May or may not be monkeys. We're going to jump to what's going on in the news. Every week, I Google the words teen and news. And it's just a crapshoot to see what comes up. And this week, I found this channel called The React Channel, and they are putting people together with technology and filming it and seeing how it unfolds. And this was about teenagers interacting with drones and an app on their phone that lets them fly the drones. And Matt has that queued up for you, I believe.
Stand by.
Stand by.
Standing by.
This is my favorite part of the
I
show.
gotta
so
see
far.
it to start it.
Pretty exciting.
Hey.
Hey, oh, where'd my mouse go?
It's a
I know,
drone.
this is exciting. We are so
It's-
technically savvy.
It's like a video game, like joystick and then like a button.
I think this is to ascend and descend left and right.
3, 2, 1, lift off. Okay, there it goes.
Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god! How do I stop? How do I stop? Oh my god, I'm so confused.
Holy what am I supposed to do?
It works.
This is my little assistant. His name is Charlie.
It is pretty cool and different. I mean, I've never seen anything like this
I love
before.
it.
It's moving. Oh god, no, come back. Okay, come back. Don't hit them.
All right,
Come
first
back.
of all, thank you very much, Matt.
whoa,
I want one. Where do I get one? And give me one. Secondly, I thought maybe we would talk about the future of drones. If it's that easy to fly a drone from your desk and have it go off and do things and name it Charlie, then what are the dangers? What's involved? What's happening? What's going to become of all of us, Aaron?
Well, okay, this is a really complicated question because there's so many different kinds of drones and so many different people using drones for different reasons. What we saw just here, hopefully you saw that, and if you didn't see it, you should watch the video podcast of what we're doing here. I mean, because there
It
are
was
people
kids
who are
flying drones.
Yeah, there are people who are listening. So,
And
but there are
squealing.
people flying drones and squealing because it's flying into their hair and also the cameras. So that is the kind of like local personal drone, and there's lots of different variations, but like it's people having fun, almost like flying an RC helicopter, right? And like often drones will have cameras and microphones and stuff like that, and like that's fun. It's like, oh sweet, me and my friends are gonna like film a movie and use a drone to get some aerial shots, and like I think that's super neat. But then there's also like, oh, what if my creepy neighbor's flying a drone over into my backyard while I'm sunbathing, right? It's like that's also kind of creepy, and there's probably going to be like laws eventually that are going to come about because of that.
Well, later on in the video, there is a camera underneath that drone, and the kids were taking drone selfies, and one of the kids called it a drelfie.
Yep.
So, Nina, did you want to say something?
On dangers of the drones, I saw that someone was using one at a concert, and the actual act Enrique Iglesias was
Right.
performing, and it flew over him and cut him in the fingers.
But why
So-
did this drone have scissor hands?
I don't know. But it was
It's the propellers.
because
They just do that.
on topics of different kinds of drones, one that follows you, you don't actually have to control it, and I think that's going to lead to some dangerous stuff in technology, and I don't like it.
All right, Maddie.
I mean, I know as far as like invasive, like invasion of privacy goes, like there have been issues with drones. Like there was a celebrity, I think Misha Collins, and someone flew a drone into his backyard.
That was
and
me. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure if you just let him know, it'll be fine. But like he was holding on to it, and he's like, "I found your drone," and he, like he was like blaming one of his co-stars, but it was someone. It wasn't one of his co-stars' drones. It was somebody who was flying a drone into his backyard.
Wouldn't it be funny if every morning you woke up and you had to like clear your yard of drones that people had flown in? Like, I found your drone. Aaron.
And like that's like the personal side of drones, and like obviously there are commercial applications like with Misha Collins or whoever it was. Imagine like TMZ using drones to get into like famous people's backyards, right? Like that's a huge maybe issue in the future, like the future of journalism, right? But then there's also like really cool, fun applications that are personal. Like I heard of this one person talking about drones that follow you. You get a virtual headset that you strap onto yourself. You get a drone that follows you and films you in third person, and it's almost like real life becomes a video game, and you're viewing you from behind, interacting with the world around you, which is like so hard to picture.
Does that come with Advil?
No.
So I'm getting.
It should come with a free
Yeah.
bottle of Advil
It's in your
and also anti-nausea.
it's in your inventory. Access it with the E key.
It's in your inventory.
Yeah, but then like beyond that, the government's also using drones for surveillance, and also for like military applications, like that we send bombs over via drone all the time and stuff like that, and then like that's like maybe like the darker side of like professional drones, but the lighter side is stuff like what Amazon is trying to do. They're trying to send you same day delivery of items by using drones to fly over houses from wherever the item is directly to you, and like dropping it at your front door and flying away. And that I think is amazing.
Olivia, are you frightened?
Yeah. I mean, like, I agree, like, with the Amazon stuff, like, that's awesome. But if everybody starts doing that, I mean, like, airplanes, for instance, you know, it's like they have somebody on the ground coordinating everybody in the sky so that no one's like, oh, boom, in the sky, you know?
It's like casually collision.
And so it's like, you know, I feel like there are going to be so many, if there are too many, then all of a sudden everything is going boom in the sky, and my package is on the 405 freeway,
Wow.
and I will never have my moisturizer.
Wow.
But
I
here's-
never looked at it that deeply.
But Olivia, that's like, well, that's a great point. Like, sure, flying packages above things is obviously going to lead to packages being dropped. But Amazon, even regardless of like drones, they're usually very good about things not being delivered and like things being broken. And you can come to them and they'll be like, "We are so sorry. We are going to help you out."
Okay, now I'm walking down the street, and I'm minding my own business, and everything is fantastic that day. All of a sudden, I am hit with a moisturizer from the sky right in my noggin. I'm out on the sidewalk, and that's it for me.
But
because
you're
no
moist.
one cares. I'm
Wait.
so moist.
Wait. Your moistness. This is like, surely as this progresses and like heavy, like I was gonna say heavy drone traffic starts to be a thing. Like you're going to start, like airplanes, you're going to start finding lanes that are safer to fly over than like
Wow.
normal streets, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Because,
the inevitable safe future.
I'm not getting knocked out.
Right, but like it's proactive companies like Amazon that are going to chart out what probably laws will then later enforce, right?
Right, but weather will interact with it so that you could say, "Oh, I want my drones going this way away from the street," and then all of a sudden, twister, and drones are
Twister.
people.
Right, which is, and they've talked about that a little bit already, and they say that like drones are going to be situational, but as common as possible, depending on the weight of the package and also weather conditions. Nina, you had something to say?
Just as a last comment, I'm not gonna like if there's gonna be drones flying in the middle of the sky. That doesn't seem fun to me. Like I don't want to look up at the sky and just see drones. I want to see the sky. Like technology is gonna really bother
They can't
me.
possibly fill up the entire sky with drones.
But
Wait,
here's
Nina,
the problem.
you don't want to see that?
I don't.
But what if the delivery drones
What's the
have
weather
cameras, and what if someone hacks into those cameras?
Oh.
Because
That's an
like,
issue.
Because you need like some kind of visual detection to land it and pick
Like,
it up and
wow.
make sure the package
Jennifer
is there.
Aniston's porch
No,
looks
no.
like this.
No. But here's the thing. Delivery drones can be completely cameraless and microphoneless.
But okay, so they don't have to be delivery drones. But I guess like also like personal drones. Where are the limits on that? Because I know my brother has a drone. It's the same company that makes the ones we saw in the video, and I was just minding my own business in my room, studying at my desk. Yes, this happened, and I just see a thing start to float up like this by my window, and I look over, and it's a drone, and my brother goes, "I can see you from
Oh
the
my
next
God.
room."
I would
and
do
I
that
was
to my
like,
sister every day. I would.
Wow.
and so like I turned around and I leave the room, and and then I saw his phone. He was facing his window, so when I walked into his room, I could see his phone. I saw myself walking out of my room into his room.
Wow.
Right.
I was like, "This is not okay."
Wait, no, but here's the thing, right? Like, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, but like, big film companies like Sony, and other major big film companies, basically when personal video recorders were released, they were trying to ban them because they were afraid that people would go into movie theaters and film those movies, right?
Yeah, and
And-
they do.
Well, no, here's the thing. They were trying to ban them from the entire market forever for everyone in America.
Oh.
Right. And right, exactly. So obviously Supreme Court said, "Listen, we get your point, but we can't ban it everywhere because like there are legitimate great applications for this technology. So it would be wrong of us to limit the public's use of it."
Right.
But however, like you still can't walk into a theater and do it because
But people do.
because bootlegs are illegal, but they exist, right? So like is it fair to get rid of drones entirely because there are going to be creeps when there are so many amazing applications for drones in everyday life and in professional life?
I wouldn't say ban them, but I think that there needs to be rules before they come out.
I would just ban them from Benji.
I am so agreement with this. Like this needs to be a thing. Let's make it a law.
Just Benji.
Just
Everyone
Benji.
else get a drone. And I would like to introduce a new member of our team in the booth. Please welcome Drew.
Hey.
And Drew is here. And can you see yourself, Drew? Oh, excellent. Now, if you're used to seeing Jakey in that spot, Jake is at his senior project presentation at school, and he'll be back next week before he goes off to college. But in the meantime, Drew is learning how to do all the boothy types of things that Jake knows how to do. And Drew is also an actor, director, producer. Describe yourself for the kids, Drew.
I primarily act.
Eat the mic.
Yep, I'm gonna eat the mic right now because I'm an actor and I should be trained to do this. So I act and I've directed, I've produced it, produce ed. That's a new word for you guys.
Just add a syllable anytime you choose.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I've just kind of done a lot. High school was really good to me. I learned a lot then. I learned a lot through youth, and I still learn now. So hopefully I can kind of help out around here.
Any drone opinions?
They scare me, but I'm an old man in a young person's body. I think they are dangerous, and we should take them out.
Before they take us out?
Exactly. The rise of the machines, guys.
Oh,
This is what
no.
it is.
But
No,
also,
no.
like, has anyone seen Age of Ultron, the new Avengers movie? And you saw what happened with Ultron.
Right,
It's
but-
not a good situation.
We're not imbuing drones with like the mind and personality of a crazy person.
But what if someone did? Hacking is advancing.
But like the capacity to store a human mind in a drone is not
Well, not
within-
a human mind, but a very, very intelligent AI.
All
AI
right.
meaning artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. We get it. Well, we're going to move on to questions that maybe we can answer.
Good plan.
The drone one we'll come back to one day. Mustache Maniac writes, I am starting at a brand new school this year, but the only problem is that I'll be in a wheelchair. I think my school has certain policies towards dress codes and bullying, but the only things I can wear is shorts and any t-shirt. And as for the bullying, I just don't know. OMG. Advice? Aaron.
Okay, so first of all, regarding like your school accepting you in a wheelchair, like if you're worried about like accessibility and stuff, like it's a school, they almost definitely like that's going to be taken care of. Like do not worry about that. you will get around just fine.
She's not worried. He's not worried about getting around because I mean, this kid grew up in an age where there's only like a wheelchair access. Like my dad was in a wheelchair. He was in a wheelchair during a time where like we carried my dad lots of places. But this kid grew up in a world where there's ramps everywhere.
Right.
I think he or she is worried about fitting in. What is he wearing? Is it okay? Do kids like him or her?
Right.
I can't tell from the screen name if it's a girl that likes men with mustaches or if it's a boy who likes his own mustache. I don't know who this kid is, but one of the things that I just wanted to say, because I don't know, but I would think that there would not be overt bullying of a person in a wheelchair, like that you would just look like the biggest tool if you did that. Olivia.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really hard for you to find the kid who's making fun of the kid in the wheelchair. Like, that's just a kid who's just not going to be liked by anyone because it's like, oh, look at the kid in the wheelchair. And then it's like, shh. Because it's like, I think everybody pretty much understands, like, if it were your choice, you most likely would not be in that wheelchair. Probably. So it's okay. And what you're wearing is okay because it's what you have to do. Like, do what you got to do.
Shorts and
Own
t-shirt,
it.
like pretty much default teenager uniform.
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't worry
standard.
about it. Yeah.
And I don't know how old you are, but I'm going to recommend it anyway. On the Kroll Show, there is a segment called Wheels Ontario about a kid who can walk, and he goes to a school with everybody else in a wheelchair.
Oh, that's awesome.
And if you're older than 14, you can watch it.
Oh, okay. Maddie?
Yeah, I was going to say there's going to be enough people who, if someone ends up bullying you because of the fact that you are in a wheelchair, there's going to be enough people around you that they are going to turn into the one that needs help from everybody else,
Really?
like, converging on them. Aaron?
Yeah, and I think that that's a great point, and I don't think that you have anything to worry about in that regards. But like as for like the dress code, which that we kind of touched on, but like whatever is required is fine. Like I think that that's also one of those school things where it's like they understand like people's needs, and if that's what is required on your part, they will be like, okay, like it's good, I'll find. Like even if there is a strict dress code in general, like that's not an issue. So,
Mina, did you have anything?
I think Olivia sort of touched on what I was going to say, you know, just no one's really going to make fun of you unless you're the kid that nobody will like. So that's what we were talking about out there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And the thing that I wanted to also mention is, and I don't know, I mean, I could definitely get a phone call from somebody who understands more about disabilities and how to treat people with disabilities, etc. 888-531-7171. But what I'm thinking is that, like, a lot of kids, if you're blind or deaf or in a wheelchair or what have you, if someone's trying to help you, your first instinct might be like, I can do it myself, and to not be friendly. But people actually get a lot out of helping, and they really enjoy helping. So if someone is opening a door for you and you're thinking like, I just want to be able to open the door myself and not have this awkward moment where someone's opening a door for me, like let someone open a door for you, smile, say thank you, because it will make that person feel better. And you have now an entree into talking to that person that other people don't necessarily have. And then if that person becomes your friend, you can say, you know what, it'd be cool if you let me open the door because I feel better about myself when I open the door by myself. But first of all, when you're meeting people, let them help you. They want to help you. Olivia?
My mom has MS, and so like I've watched her like struggle with not being able to walk before. And she was in a wheelchair for a lot of when I was younger. And some kids, I remember like in kindergarten, they're like, your mom's in a wheelchair. And like, it was whatever. And then some other kid was like, you can walk, stop talking, like stop. And it was like, we were really young too. So if young kids get it, I promise you, older kids will get it too.
I mean, what will probably more likely happen than being bullied or anything will be people asking you questions. So if you want to come up with like a concise explanation as to why you're in a wheelchair, then because this is not something you want to be talking about all day, every day, you want to be like, yes, I'm in a wheelchair because blah, blah. Then people will be like, okay, cool. And pretty soon that will get around school as to the reason why. And that's, people are curious. I know that kids always ask my dad, why are you in a wheelchair? And, he would tell them, I had polio. And they'd be like, okay, because they just kind of want to know. And then once that's addressed, it's like, let's move on with our just being friends. And now that we know that about each other, everybody has something. So Olivia, will you read the letter from Space Ghost? Because this has been kind of an ongoing thing with Space Ghost, and maybe she'll call in 888-531-7171, or maybe he'll call in because I know he's trans. And this is about being trans. But anyway, go ahead, Olivia, and read.
Space Ghost.
Yeah.
I was with my grandmother for a couple days last week. All was okay until she dragged my cousin and I to her church. Her church is one of those small, super religious, southern, conservative, and judgmental churches. The sermon was on staying away from Satan's temptations. I absolutely hated it. The preacher kept making homophobic statements, aka gay marriage will destroy America, and the gays will be the most tortured souls in hell. It got me really upset, but I didn't say anything about it until we got in the car, where my grandmother told me how she prays for me to get rid of my gay sins. She also went on to yell and scream because she said, well, you're misguided because you're gay. Being gay isn't a sin. She then brought me up being trans and told me, I'll never call you he, or whatever male name you choose. You were born a female, so you stay a female. I tried explaining the difference between gender and sex, but obviously it didn't work. This bothered me since I went home. I felt so horrible and worthless. I don't know what to do about it.
So, and I just wanted to say, Trish, that Nina has your sheet with the Periscope shortcuts. Or topics for Periscope. Hi, Periscope. We're our place out loud. We're talking about teen issues, and right now we're talking about trans kids, gay kids, and who live in very Christian families and or neighborhoods. Go ahead, Aaron.
Right. So, like, the first thing I want to say to Space Ghost is your grandma will never change her mind, and that's a sad thing, but, like, your grandma had one chance to do this thing. She had one chance to change her mind, and that was when you came out. And if that didn't happen, you cannot ever expect it to happen, and that's very sad, and I'm sorry. But, like, you need to understand that because, like, that's not rooted in actual hatred of you. It's rooted in an idea in her head of what this all means, which is not based on fact or yada yada. It's based on ignorance. It's based on a non-understanding. Right.
Well, it's based on fear. She's afraid that you're going to go to hell. So she brought you to this service to try and scare you into doing what she thinks will get you into heaven. She's misguided. She doesn't understand. And there's really no person on earth who completely understands why we're here and where we're going when we're no longer here. So I don't really get when people act like they have the answers, because there's a whole bunch of people in their congregation that support that they have the answers, whether it be super religiously Christian, Muslim, Jewish, or Mormon or anything. There's no monopoly on intolerance. It's in the extreme version of every religion. And our job as humans here on Earth is to kind of maybe figure out why and what we can do about helping people be religious, but also open-minded about humans being humans. Olivia?
I just want to say that, again, there's nothing wrong with you, and you have to remember that. The person who's going to be missing out here is your grandma, because she's going to miss out on you being you and the most authentic version of yourself. And there's nothing more beautiful than being the most authentic version of yourself, and live your life to the absolute fullest, because I promise you that there are people out there who are ready to love and accept you for all that you are. And I'm really sorry that it's not the people that you were born into thinking that would love and accept you no matter what. But there are people out there, and once you build your own family, you can look back and honestly, you might even feel bad for her because she's the person missing out here. Aaron?
Yeah, I think that was very well said. I just also want to say, like, she's your grandma, and maybe it's not possible now, but in life, like, if this is how anyone treats you, you don't owe someone who treats you that way your time, right? Like, you don't. Doesn't matter if they're family. They're not your family if that's how they treat you. And right now, maybe you can't do something about that, because I know there are family situations where, like, you are just stuck occasionally going to spend time with your grandma for a couple days, right? Like that. Some families are like that. But when you can, it is fine and understandable and normal and probably positive for you to cut that person out of your life if this is how they treat you. And this is how they treat you.
And you
sorry.
don't really have to cut someone out of your life. You could just never talk about this again. And if you think you're the only person in the congregation of that church who was listening to that and not feeling what you're feeling, or feeling secretly gay or trans, you're wrong. There were other people that listen to that insufferable hate speech and feel the way you feel, that they will never be loved for who they truly are. Olivia?
Well, I mean, I think that, I think that it is acceptable to cut certain people out, or not even cut them out. It doesn't need to be a whole scene or a big fight or anything, but just remove them from your situation, even if they are family. Again, you don't owe them anything. You don't owe them anything. If they aren't going to treat you with the respect you deserve, you don't owe them anything. And I don't think it is a matter of bringing it up again or not. It's going to be brought up. You are trans. That is that.
But when it comes up, you can just say, Grandma, not talking about this. Aaron?
But like, why would you subject yourself to it being brought up at all?
Because she may go to family events where this person is present, and it's just a thing that will happen.
Then you avoid the
can't
person
just
at
cut
those
out-
events.
Avoid them then.
You avoid the person at those events. Like, it's very simple. Like, you can completely cut someone out of your life. Why would you ever be, for example, why would you ever be friends with someone who, like, without prompting, like, just in a conversation says, who you are is a lie, and also you're going to hell.
But you have a loving family and loving grandparents. Let's say that you loved everything about your grandparents except for that they didn't accept your girlfriend or whatever. You wouldn't stop.
That's different. That's extremely different. If they didn't accept me, that's a different thing than if they don't accept a girlfriend.
Or one part of you. It's hard to avoid them at family functions.
No.
Just completely. Nina?
I do agree that with Olivia, you can cut people out of your life, because I haven't spoken to my grandparents or anything since I was 10.
Wow.
Because of, just, they are awful people. Just what have they done? But, I feel like it sounds like her whole family's like this when she talks about it, which is really, really sad, and I feel so bad for you. But if you, like Olivia said, you will go out there and you will find other people that will be your chosen family, and it doesn't matter if they're like blood related to you. Your family is your family, and who you choose and who accepts you is the people that you can choose to be around. So if you don't want to go to a family event because you're going to be, ambushed by these people, you don't have to. So yeah.
Liv?
I'm Jewish, and the majority of my family is Catholic. A lot of people don't speak to me, and at family events I am constantly pulled over and blessed for my damned soul.
What?
And I mean, this has been happening. I mean, every time I talk on the phone with certain family members, that the phone call will always end, and I'm praying for you.
Wow.
I would love to see you up there. Stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Stuff like that, and they mean it.
Right, like
And
they're not saying it to be mean.
No,
Right.
they say it because they legitimately believe that I am less and I am going to hell, and that my religion and what I was brought up in is a lie, and there are only certain things, like I live with my boyfriend. We did that, and then I get a whole talk about how God is watching me, and that I'm being sent to hell immediately for this sin against the Lord. And I'm just like, I'm sure the Lord has other things to worry about right now. I really don't think that me signing a lease is his biggest concern. So, I don't deal with those family members. I don't indulge their ignorance. I really don't.
Maddie?
I mean, you can also there's definitely, and I think that there's definitely a line. Like, that is just too, like, it's too far. Like, there's absolutely no reason to subject yourself to that. But if the relationship with your grandma is something that you value with the other parts of your relationship to her than this particular issue, like if you have good moments that you would like to keep with your grandma, you can also have this conversation, and this goes for any family members that you're having an issue with. You can go up to them and be like, listen, we have a relationship that is sometimes good and sometimes not good, and I am willing to keep this relationship with you if these topics, we don't talk about it. Because we don't agree, and I don't like the way that you talk to me about it, and I'm sure that you don't like what I have to say about it, so we're not talking about this, and that's how I'm going to act in this relationship. If you can't act this way in this relationship, then yes, I'm drawing the line. We don't speak anymore.
I like it. That sounds fair. And
That's
every
awesome.
person has to work it out for themselves. Drew writes, can a person get out of the friend zone? Such a topic. Aaron?
Just one quick thing to say. the question should be, can a person get in the friend zone? And the answer is no, they can't, because there isn't one. Yeah, it's not real. And with that, I will turn it to someone else, whoever else. Olivia.
It's a lie. It's a lie. You're being lied to, and you're lying to yourself. The friend zone isn't a thing. You're friends with someone, or you're not friends with someone. Friend zone, whatever, just means like, oh, I have a crush on this person, and they want to be my friend. Like, that's fine. That's valid. If somebody doesn't want to date you, it doesn't mean they're putting you in the friend zone. It means they don't want to date you, and that's fine. And it's not something you need to get out of or whatever. If they want to date you, they'll date you.
All right, but Olivia, let me rephrase Drew's question. How do I get this girl that I really like to like me romantically?
Right,
because that's what is being asked.
Yes, exactly. Because like that's the thing. Every time someone has ever said, "How do I get out of the friend zone?" what they are saying is, I'm attracted to this person, and we're friends, but they're not liking me back. They're not also attracted to me. Why? What's going on? How can I make this change? If they are not attracted to you, they are not attracted to you.
And that's that. And that's valid.
Right. They are allowed, no matter how nice you are, no matter how long you've known them, to not be romantically in touch with you. That's fine. That's normal.
Right, but is there historically or anecdotally anything that you can do to get someone to see you as a potential romantic partner? Because this is one of the most frequently asked questions on the internet. Maddie.
Well, I answered this question in the app, and my response was I put quotes around friend zone because it is not a thing. But I think the best way to just be like to kind of try to not be friends with someone and be more if that's what you're trying to do. Because how I interpreted this question is that they haven't talked to this person yet.
It feels that way.
So it's not like they asked and they're being friend zoned. I took it as like they haven't asked. They're still in the friend zone,
quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, you have to let somebody know that your intentions have changed.
Yeah, so I think
see you as...
I said talk to that person. I said just be like, hey, so we are friends, yes? How about more? Yes, no? Yes, no?
You know?
Yeah, that, and if it's a different scenario, let's say you've already asked this person and talked to them, if you have, basically calling it the friend zone takes away their right to say no. So if someone doesn't like you, they don't like you.
You mean romantically?
Romantically, not you can always make up with people, but
because here's the thing about friends versus romantic interests. There's lots of friends. Well, there's that role. There's a cast of thousands in that role, and then there's one romantic partner at a time. So it's much more difficult to ask someone to see you romantically just because you see them romantically. It often doesn't click in both directions, which is why we keep searching until it does, which is why there's so much online dating, because people need to go outside of the people they actually know in order to find a romantic partner. If it were an easy thing, there would be no online dating. Olivia.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with what Nina said about, like, by saying you're in the friend zone takes away their right to say no. It's like, oh, poor me. Like, they don't want to date me. They just want me. It's like, stop. Like, it's okay that they said no. And someday you'll say no to someone.
And friends are really valuable. Mm-hmm. In fact, they last longer than most romantic partnerships. Yep. So, Aaron.
Yeah, like, I think that really how to quote-unquote deal with the friend zone, right? Because it doesn't exist, but to deal with a situation commonly perceived as the friend zone, there's a simple flowchart. It is, have you talked to them about this? Do they know that you want more than just a friendship? If the answer is yes and they said no, then either you come to terms with that and you stay friends and you say, hey, listen, I get that. I just want to let you know, like if you change your mind, I'm here for you. And outside of that, we're friends. That's cool. And then you actually never talk about it again. Or you can't deal with it and you move on and you don't stay friends with them because you want more than they do, and that's not a healthy relationship.
All right, so before we move on from this, assuming that there are possibly 4 things that you could do to get yourself out of this mythical place that we have titled the friend zone, before you move on, try the following. Ask her a lot of questions about her feelings. Listen to her answers. Give her a hug when she's sad. Make eye contact. Smile at her. Help her move a couch. After that, move on. But let her know what type of man you truly are before you give up on it ever becoming romantic. Because sometimes girls can look up and go, oh my God, he's so nice. I'm ready for some nice. Because I've had some really unnice, and I'm ready for some nice. Because sometimes girls go from 16 to 17, and they're over jerks, and they want a nice boy. And you could be that right boy and nice boy the moment she's ready for a nice boy. Any wisdom behind that, Aaron?
Okay, so like yes,
Larry's like,
right,
yeah.
like, so yes and no.
Right.
Like yes, it's true that what was once a friendship that can't become a relationship could later then become a relationship. That is technically possible, but it's not because he was persistent and kept asking about it. It's because he asked once, said no, said all right, that's cool. It's out there now, right? You know, and we're gonna move on. And then he continued to be a cool guy, and they were friends. And then one day she decided, you know what? I will take you up on that offer, because she was thinking about it, and those feelings came to her on their own,
And-
not because he was persistent and kept asking.
Right.
about it.
Not. Don't keep asking about romance, but be nice. Because if she is one day ready to be treated with respect,
No, but like at the same time, because while you should clearly always be nice to everyone that is a friend, right?
Right.
And should be nice to people in general.
Mhm.
That does not entitle you to a relationship that is
No.
deeper than a friendship.
I'm just saying, before you walk away and make all new friends because your heart has to mend, just show her who you are.
No.
And then walk away.
But Wheezy, Here is the thing. If your initial reaction upon getting turned down is to be like, I'm just going to walk away, then you should not be in a relationship with that person, because you're clearly not actually
That's
a good
not what
person.
I just said.
No. Like, if the person gets turned down, right?
Right.
Because it's like, oh, no, I'm in the friend zone. Please let's not be in the friend zone. And she says, look, we're just friends. And he's like, oh, well, darn, I guess I shouldn't be nice anymore. I'm just going to go out and like bail on this whole thing. Then they shouldn't have been in a relationship in the first place, because he didn't actually like her for who she was. He liked her because he wanted to be in a relationship with her. And that's a bad relationship basis, right? And we can't encourage people to be nice to people with the intention of being romantic.
No, but I can encourage people to show someone who you are. Show someone that you're a gentleman. Let her decide. And then if you're still unhappy because this isn't what you wanted and your heart is breaking, I'm going to let Olivia talk first because you've been talking. Go, Olivia.
I agree with Aaron. So, yeah, I mean, you're gonna be nice to someone, and be like, oh, they turned me down. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing this. To someday she'll see me as the person that she wants. No.
I'm not saying someday. I'm saying he may not know her yet. He then tells her, hey, I have a crush on you. She says, I don't see you that way. He says, hey, let's hang out.
How can you be in the friend zone with someone you don't know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, the friend zone means you're friends and you want to be more. So they already know each other.
They already know each other. And if you stay in something after you were turned down, hoping that one day, someday, it will all be great, you're wasting your time. You can do you, they can do them. You don't have to totally separate, but you can't keep waiting on someone. You can't live your life like that.
See, you're thinking like a 20-year-old. I'm saying that when you go from being 14 to being 15, you have greater capacity to interact and listen and ask about feelings. And you may want to give it another year in the friend zone before you say, this person just breaks my heart to see her dating other guys. I need to just...
Why would you waste that year of your life?
Yeah.
It's not a wasted year. You're growing up. Matt, you have wisdom. Talk to the children. They're not listening to me.
I don't know. I'm a little bit more on Olivia's side, to be frank.
So at what point do you decide? Oh,
as a guy having spent plenty of time pining after people.
So what's the right amount of time to show her who? This is Drew here. To
Before
show her
you
who
ask
you
her.
before you tell her you like her.
Wheezy, you should always be
You
that
should
person.
always be that
You should never
person.
not be that person.
But he
Even-
maybe doesn't know that girls want you to ask about their feelings. Maybe
No,
he doesn't
wait,
know that yet.
Wait,
matter.
Wait a second. Here's the thing. If he is being a good friend, then he is fulfilling, like, being a good person, being himself. That's what a good friend is. Being open and honest and cool with each other, right? Like, just hanging out, having a good time, being me, being you, and it's working, and we're hanging out that way, right? That's being a friend, and that can result in feelings developing, and if they don't, then that's just the way it is. There's no change in, like, how you interact with someone.
There's a big change between 13, 14, 15, and 16. There's big changes between...
But you don't waste years of your life on a crush. You shouldn't. Because that's what it is.
A year max is what I'm saying. Nina.
I'm gonna compromise for all of you.
All right.
How about you can have a crush on someone for a while, but you don't have to be pining after them.
Yeah.
You can be friends with them with some secret feelings. Maybe you've already told them, but just keeping friends with them, and maybe it will end up in a relationship. Maybe it won't. If it doesn't, you have to accept that. If it does, awesome.
I like that.
If it doesn't, you can keep being friends with them. You don't have to drop them off. Like, you don't have to get rid of them. I don't think that's a thing.
No, but that's not what we're saying.
Oh, I know you guys aren't saying that, but I mean, just you can, don't pine, but you can have a crush on someone. I
Maddie?
feel like that's.
Yeah, I like that.
I was going to say, if any of you have seen How I Met Your Mother, Ted Mosby is the perfect example of this. It's not cute. It's not acceptable to just keep chasing. He spends over 10 years of his life chasing after this girl that is dating other people, and 20 years, and it kills him, and he marries someone else. He never ends up with her. She doesn't think it's cute. Nobody
Spoilers.
thinks it's cute. Sorry.
Two end up together.
How does he meet his mother? What?
I'm sorry.
So that's mythical. It's not.
It's mythical, and it's like it's
not healthy
like
expectations.
Everyone
Not
has
at
been
all.
saying, like, basically how that should work is if you two are friends, and you're friends because you like each other. You like how you are. Like Olivia and I, we are friends. This is a good relationship because I like her because of who she is.
Right.
If I decide that I like her because of who she is in a romantic way, then it becomes a thing because I like her as a person because of how she's been acting.
Right, but like-
it's not like she suddenly acts romantically and I'm like, oh yes, this works.
Right, like you don't suddenly decide that your criteria for liking her have changed. You like her for the same reasons, but also you're
Exactly.
attaching a romantic context.
Okay, but before we move on to the next question, let me just say I'm going back to the mindset of a 14-year-old boy who thinks maybe, hey, to get out of the friend zone is like act macho, be cool, teaser, be kind of like a jackass. When I'm saying you may want to try just being nice and seeing if that works before you give up on her ever liking you romantically.
Always be nice, but ask once.
I know always be nice, but I don't know if 14-year-old boys who watch each other posturing around girls know always what a girl would see as nice. They don't. See, you have a brother.
Oh, he's older than me. He's not 14, but okay.
But I mean, you know what I'm talking
I
about.
cannot handle boys in my grade. They're
Yeah,
awful, awful,
Well,
awful.
girls just don't like boys.
They
their
do
own
they
age.
do the jackass thing where they think it's cool. Like, I'm gonna pinch you, and one boy poured goldfish down my shirt and thought it was funny. It wasn't funny.
Not
so
funny.
yeah,
Aaron,
don't be in that.
don't be that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But wait. So we all go through a stage when we're younger where boys and girls aren't friends.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to.
Right. And I'm saying that like everything we're saying is preparation for the point where boys and girls are friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are cool with each other on the level of friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're doing really nicely. Not specifically towards a goal, but that's how you should be.
Towards other humans.
Exactly. And like under those conditions, relationships can form, which isn't the point, but it certainly can't happen any other way in a healthy form.
Right.
Right.
All right. I think we'll continue to debate this throughout the years. Who wants to read Genie in a Bottle? Maddie?
I really need your help. My boyfriend of 6 years recently lost a cousin. He was really close. He recently lost a cousin he was really close to due to cancer. After that, he became super affectionate with me, constantly telling me he loved me and always trying to hug me, which is rare for him. And then 3 days later, he tells me that our relationship is not going to work and that we should just be friends because he wants more than what I can offer. He says we argue too much and we just aren't compatible because we want different things. He told me that he had a conversation with a family member during the funeral that really opened his eyes to the fact that he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life in this type of relationship. I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is part of his grieving process. I don't know if this is part of the grieving process for him. Please help. Sad face.
Matt?
I'm going to jump in on this one just briefly from having the experience of recently losing a family member. Anything that he says right now may not really be what he's really thinking.
And that was what you wanted to know from me.
Yeah, and that doesn't necessarily mean that at the end of all this, he's going to want to be your boyfriend. But I would take anything that he says right now with a grain of salt because, I mean, in my experience, not that it was a relationship thing, but I couldn't make a good decision to save my life a couple of months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would get incredibly angry and pissed off at the littlest things, or just burst into tears, or think that I needed to do something so desperately and then turns out really I should not have done that, or vice versa. So take it all with a grain of salt, and all you can really do right now is just tell him that you'll be there for him in whatever capacity that he wants, that you're still his friend. And I kind of suspect that at the end of all this, he's going to go, I don't know what I was thinking when I said that to you. We're fine. If you were fine before, I think at the end of this, you're
The
gonna be
thing
fine.
is, they weren't. And this, I have truncated this message. There was a lot of dysfunction and a lot of arguing. So I don't know if the funeral and losing his cousin got him to the realization that, like, maybe this isn't. I lost my cousin at such a young age. Do I want to? He's been in this relationship for 6 years. Definitely, I think she should give it a little bit of time before she asks him again. But this is her life we're talking about too,
right?
And she's being told something very, very devastating. Olivia?
I mean, if there was, I didn't know whether or not like there were problems in the relationship.
A lot of
before.
arguing. I don't know if it was to the point where it was really, really unhealthy and toxic, but they said they have issues. The word issues was used.
All right. I mean, if there are issues that could be worked through, then maybe, you have to give it some time. I mean, when my grandma died last summer, I called my boyfriend right away because I was like, I'm dying. And he didn't answer his phone, and I was so mad at him. Like, he didn't know what was going on. He had no idea. I hadn't given him the news yet. And I was like, I'm going to break up with him. He doesn't care about anything. And I'm just like, because I was like taking out everything I was feeling on he just didn't have his phone.
So
and
it's back to what Matt was saying, that state of mind.
sometimes it's just like, yeah. And he had a conversation. He was like, I need to break up. I need to start my life. Blah, blah, blah. And in 2 weeks, they'll be like, hi. I'm sorry. And, but you never know. And if it wasn't working before, probably won't work after.
But maybe this is a good time to re-examine everything.
Yeah,
and the
definitely.
way that you interact. So a
Definitely.
wake-up call regardless. Nina?
Yeah, I'm going to say like a weird metaphor-ish sort of thing. My best friend died of cancer a few years ago, and I was so sad about it. I actually quit my favorite sport that I was in. I was just closed off for a few months. And then I realized when I look back, I did not like that sport, and I didn't end up going back into it, which is sort of weird. Like, re-examining it, all the bad things about it was surfacing, and I was like, oh, that was sort of a good decision. So it could end up both ways.
Right. That's what I was kind of thinking, was that
Aaron?
it's weird that, like, he first was super attached and hugging you when he doesn't usually. So that was a red flag for me, because she deserves to be hugged every day. So I don't know if this was already kind of broken and this just brought everything to a head, like Nina just said about her favorite sport. Aaron?
Yeah. Like, the first thing that stood out to me was the fact that it's like, not that he doesn't hug her normally, but the fact that he was hugging her now, right? Like, these are behavioral changes, out of character behavioral changes after a major emotional event. Whenever you see that in anybody, that's an indication something's not right. And therefore, like, what you were saying, Matt, what Matt was saying, was that, like, you go through these periods where you can't make a decision, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You already said all that. I don't need to say it again. And so that is certainly totally potentially what's going on here, and like the fact that he's acting differently plays into that and is a good indication. But there's also what you were saying, which is on top of that, maybe he's not wrong, and this is an opportunity for you to evaluate that.
Maddie?
I think, as far as how to proceed for Genie in a Bottle, I think the best way for you to kind of move forward with this is, yes, it was a 6-year relationship for you as well as him. You are both in this. So it's going to be really tough, but I think the best way for you to proceed with him right now is to kind of, as Matt said, just tell him that you are there for him, and then maybe put a little bit of distance while he's not totally in a place where everything is stable and normal.
And if he comes back and says, erases, I didn't mean any of that, that's a Bob word. He always says that. Then you do need to think about how you were getting along and how you could get along better.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be a relationship moving forward through life, then the way you were doing things didn't seem to be working all that well. So use this experience to have a healthier dialogue. Aaron, would you please read the debating question? Because I guess you and Jenny were really kind of getting involved in this one. Has a lot of answers in the debating section of our place, and so go ahead and take it away, and maybe we could have an interesting conversation about religion.
Yeah. First off, just about the notifications thing, I checked today, I had over 90 notifications regarding this and a couple other debates.
Oh,
so,
wow.
It's just on fire. But the question is, from Secretly Feminine, what is your religion or lack thereof? Why do you believe what you do? And understandably, understandably,
big question, dude.
Right,
dude.
Exactly, dude. Oh my God.
If I may quote Olivia.
Oh my God. Haha. Right. Uh-huh. So this was a huge thing, and still is. If you look in the app right now in the debating section, you can see it going crazy. Still, people are still all over this question, and it was primarily what it became in the end: a bunch of atheists and a bunch of Christians quoting the Bible, going back and forth, and it was interesting, the points that people were making, and the points that people ignored. It was interesting. It was very, very. It's something that I'd like to recreate now, actually. So
all right.
I'm asking the panel.
Let's start with Nina.
I'm not really in a religion per se. I'm more of a spiritual kind of believing things. And the reason I believe in it, because that's the question, is because weird things have happened to me that have made me believe in it when I didn't believe in it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what? Can you give us a story?
Okay, so my mom would talk to this medium when she was like, you're going to think I'm crazy. Everyone's going to look at me differently. But, okay, good. So, and I was always be like, are you serious right now? That is ridiculous. Are you joking? That is completely nonsense, baloney. That doesn't exist. And then I talked to her, and all you have to do is give her your first name, and you can't, no last names or anything. She didn't know I was even my mom's daughter. I just wanted to see. And she knew stuff that I almost started crying because I could not believe that people knew the stuff that she knew about me. Mm-hmm. So, and then the things that she said happened that you couldn't guess. So, and then things like signs popped up for me. So it was really weird. So that's why I believe.
So that's really not religion, though.
Yeah,
That's
it's not
more
religion.
like
It's more like
mystic,
spiritual
stuff.
Yeah. So everyone thinks I'm weird, but
no. Are you kidding?
I'm not crazy. I
A lot
promise.
of people have those types of stories.
Okay,
Aaron.
Yeah, I'm not going to respond to that because right now we're not debating. We're just going to state, but I have my own thoughts about that. But I'm not going to talk about that. So, what do I believe? I was raised Jewish, and I think that has influenced me in great ways. But I am now. I would register as an agnostic Jew, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
If I can label myself as such, an agnostic Jew works for me because I figure there is no evidence to support God's existence physically that is testable and provable. But at the same time, if God is God, He is also theoretically capable of making himself undetectable to science and therefore unprovable completely by either side. So I'm not willing to say it doesn't exist, but I am certainly willing to say that how it's written out in the Bible can't be true.
We have a comment from Dog Anna Can Turk. Mystic stuff proves religion. Interesting.
Right, yeah. And maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah. All
maybe
right.
we'll get to that.
Maddie?
I was also raised Jewish. My mom was an Orthodox Jew, but she raised us Reform, yeah. So, I mean, in my daily, I had a bat mitzvah, I did all the stuff, growing up when I was a younger kid, and my mom had control of my education. I went to Hebrew school, I did all the, Jew kid things. And I do think that has influenced my life, kind of similar to as you said, but I think I would call myself a cultural Jew.
Aha, yes.
Nice
well said. I would agree with that.
La right to be 50%, not to be 50%, but there are maybe she.
Not sure what that means.
I think that means that they're kind of on the fence about it. Olivia?
I was raised extremely Jewish. I started in Jewish school at Mommy and Me, and I only left after years and years and years and years of begging, going to a rabbi, having a rabbi talk to my parents about it so I could finally go to performing arts school. So, yeah, my dad was Orthodox growing up. My mom was Catholic. But she completely took on Judaism when she met my dad.
Wow.
And when she met my dad, she was like, this is what I should have been doing my whole life.
Your mother seems like the most Jewish thing in the world
I know.
ever. If her name were I would be like, oh, yeah.
Like, honestly, like you expect my mom's name to be like Rivka,
Exactly.
but it's not. It's Maria D'Arcangelo.
It just shows you how close Catholics and Jews really are in our soul. I feel
It's the
like.
guilt.
I
it's
mean,
the guilt.
It's the guilt.
It's just like,
so
it's
yeah,
I don't know. It's,
I mean,
it's in the sauce.
between my dad and my mom, my whole life I felt like I've murdered someone.
Ha.
But I mean, it's really interesting, Aaron, that we have the exact same views on God, kinda. But I still participate in every single Jewish activity, every holiday. I still Torah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
I do that because, like, it's those traditions that I love keeping alive. Do I think that if I don't pray before a meal, I am going to die? No. Do I have to follow every tradition to the point where, you know, like, I don't do the birth control? No. I'm going to do me. I'm going to continue doing the Jew stuff because, like, that's what I was raised in, and it's really comforting.
and
I
it's
don't,
cultural as well as
yeah,
religious.
I don't know if I believe in almost anything, but I definitely enjoy doing them.
Drew, any religious background?
Oh, and we also have a phone call, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. I'm gonna briefly touch on religion really quickly. I was raised Christian. I've diverted a little bit. I've had some serious talks with my dad about if one of us believes in God or if one of us doesn't believe in God. The conversations are actually really enlightening. To put it in a really compact way, I believe that everything happens on purpose because we're all like my dad's a geologist, so I see things scientifically. If two particles collided and they created us living, breathing beings in this giant universe that we somehow habitated and now have like this huge, great thing, we built a lot out of nothing. So I believe those two particles collided on purpose, not on accident. So I think everything kind of happens for a reason.
I like that. Let's go to the phone call really quick. Hello. Hi, Space Ghost. Hello, Space Ghost.
Do you read a Space Ghost?
She's in space. Ghosts don't have ears, Wheezy. You knew that. Space Ghost. Is that like a cartoon character that she's named after?
It's actually like there is one, but that's not
Space
what. That's
Ghost
not what
is
Space
also in the chat and
okay.
and says that the phone went out. So
all
I
right.
guess we
Oh,
won't
no.
Did she
the
have a
call.
religious thought that she could chat to us? Oh, all right.
Space Ghost, if you can hear us, well,
Chat your answer.
yeah.
Chat your answer.
But just real quick about Space Ghost. There is a cartoon character, but that's not what the name is based on.
Oh, all right. Back to Nina. Religion.
Sorry, I'm gonna add on to my thought about I was raised Christian, but I still like to celebrate Christmas. I take little pieces from things, and I believe in certain things. I'm not like a certain category per se, but I believe in certain things. And with the medium thing, I didn't want to base my whole belief on that one call that I had because a lot of things have happened that make me believe in that. It's not just I called with a certain medium, so I didn't want to make it sound like that made me open my eyes, sort of thing. But yeah. Madison?
Thank you for using my full name. Yeah, basically where I kind of draw the line on religion is you can believe whatever you want to believe and that makes you happy as long as the number one golden rule, you don't force it on somebody else. And also that your beliefs aren't harming somebody. You can believe whatever you want as long as you're not being like, you person, no more living for you. Because of what I believe, you don't get to live. So
Oh, you mean like war?
Like, well, war
Extremism?
or just, I guess.
Like
or just
Olivia's
basically-
family being like, I'm praying for you. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah, like you can't inflict what you believe onto somebody else, but you can believe whatever you want. That's okay.
Like on a personal level?
Right,
Yes.
but what if you're taught your whole life that everybody who doesn't believe the way you believe is wrong, and therefore you can't associate with them because they may give you ideas that are not good for you and will harm you and impair your pathway to heaven.
That's fine, but then you
Matt.
need to be the one to remove yourself. Like, you can't be like, oh, I can't be with you. Then you need to just not say anything. And, like, if that's what you believe, then don't put yourself in that situation.
Matt?
So Space Ghost says that he's atheist, but very open-minded and accepting, which, given, what we heard from Space Ghost earlier, I think is incredibly open-minded.
Yeah.
Considering organized religion has not been kind to him.
Right.
Yeah.
That is very, very loving. And that's, I think, at the end of the day, what I would want everybody to take away, no matter your religious beliefs, to have being loving at the core would be a beautiful thing. Aaron.
And also, I think in the long run, it might be beneficial to people in Space Ghost's position for like that to be the general attitude towards these more conservative views, because quite frankly, like the more conservative views feel threatened by people like Space Ghost, because it's like this is a subversion of everything I've ever been taught, and I've been taught this is wrong and that these people are going to hell, etc., etc. But like that gets compounded with the added thought of, oh no, they're infiltrating everything and they're tearing down they're attacking my established belief system. Whereas Space Ghost is like, you know what, like you do you,
but
I'm gonna do me, and people will think that I'm okay because many people do, and one day, like, you will see I'm not here to attack you. I'm not your enemy. And
Right.
even if you don't, your kids will.
But it's like getting the old guard to accept that these two things may be true. Well, maybe
Right.
Jesus Christ is the pathway to God, and Space Ghost can become a he. Maybe
Wait.
those are both two things that can be true.
So I'm going to say, I don't know, this might be a little controversial, but like the old guard is old and old things eventually go away. Like,
But it was an old thing that
Nope.
for centuries and centuries and centuries upheld itself, and many died to keep it upheld. So we live in very interesting times.
oh, we do. And in the Bible, we're also supposed to stone magicians.
I'm on board. Let's get to work. Go gather stones and gather magicians. Let's start with your cousin Larry.
Okay.
No,
Actually,
just,
I know.
just joking around.
I
I
wanna
love
go-
you all. I love everybody. We are Our Place Out Loud. Thank you, panel. Download the app Our Place, soon to be called Journals, in the iTunes app store, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye.
I've been out there wandering. I've been in here wondering, hoping, reaching, wishing I could find my way. Then I found our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. I may look a little hazy and I may feel a little crazy. I'm sifting through confusion and I'm searching for solutions, and I know I'm answer bound, 'cause I found our place, where we can dream. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really matters. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care it. Our place, where we can dream and share it. Our place, you'll find a friend to care and hear you, heal you, steer you back to kindness. Your soul may be in tatters. You'll learn what really